Hey guys, we're back with another trip recap going over a recent day and a half that was a big yellowfin bite.
Yeah, we saw some schools of bluefin down there as well. We did catch some of them, but this was our best drift of the trip here on this yellowfin, and you can see pretty much the whole boat was hooked up. If not, they were working at it to get a chance to fight one of these yellowfin.
So it looks like a little bit of a smaller grade here that Matt just gaffed, and also one getting walked down the deck there. Was that typically about the size of yellowfin we're seeing right now?
Yeah, the fish were anywhere from like 15 pounds at the smallest up to about 30 pounds at the largest. We were seeing them up on the surface. This was actually a breezer that we stopped on. And we threw bait on it. It exploded and reacted to the chum, and people were able to start hooking it on Flyline right away.
Nice. So around like 25-pound test or so?
Guys were getting bit just fine on 30 pounds. Some were dropping down to 25. There were a few bites on 40 as well. The key was just finding a good bait that would swim well. And if you could cast it away from the boat or get it to swim away from the boat, you were in a good position to get bit.
Yeah, I mean, I think every single person in this shot right now, like the five people up on the bow are bit.
Yeah, we had a lot of fish going, and everyone worked together really well with the communication of the crew here. You can see right here, this passenger is asking me to check his drag. I think this might have been on 20-pound test,
Mm.
so he was having a hard time gaining on the fish. So I checked his drag for him.
And so when a passenger asks you to check their drag, and obviously it's ideal to do it before the bite, of course, but when it's sort of mid-fight like that, can you walk people through sort of what you're looking for and how to get set up for that?
Yeah, so when they ask me that, I'm going to ask them what pound test they're fishing. So a lot of times people tell me, oh, it's 65-pound braid to this to this. All I need to know is what your leader is, what your weakest link in the chain is. So in his case, it was 20-pound test. And so he needs to try to stop the fish, not have his hand on the reel for me. And then I'm going to check by pulling to see if we can get like somewhere between 25 and 33% of the breaking strain.
So probably right, step one would be try to get the fish to stop. So rod up, and then two, thumb off the spool, obviously, and then three, just kind of let the deckhand sort of bring the line out.
Yeah, exactly. We're just trying to pull and feel how many pounds of resistance we're guesstimating at, and obviously it's much more of a guesstimation when there's a fish on the other end of the line.
Looks like beautiful, calm weather too. Can't ask for anything better.
Yeah, as days go, they're not all created equal, right? We had beautiful sunny weather, flat, calm seas with little to no wind.
And I'm seeing a number of bait casters here too. Was that pretty common for this daytime bite?
Light line, they're just very, very popular. So guys using 25, 30-pound tests, the level wines like a Tranks or Alexa or the Komodo, they work very well for that. People can cast a bait a little bit easier with them, I would say. Less chance of a backlash, and they swim a bait just fine.
Yeah, and the level lines too are super great for beginners. You don't really have to worry about that line management, having it bunch up on one side of the spool. But not to say that all anglers that use these reels are beginners, but it's just pretty convenient sometimes. So, what was the experience level on this trip?
Oh, we definitely had some mixed grade anglers to go with our mixed grade fishing. We had some guys that come with me a few times a year, and we had quite a few people who had never caught a tuna before. So that's always a fun experience when they get to catch their very first tuna, and you're able to assist them and help them get that in the boat.
Now, what's your take on the eating the first heart of your first bluefin and first yellowfin?
I guess I've grown up that way doing it, and I think it's a fun experience. And if you're down to have a little fun, a little bite of the heart, wash it down with a beer and celebration is a pretty cool thing to do, I think.
Yeah, you can see in the video here, you just check somebody else's drag. So, guys, don't be afraid to do that, especially on lighter line or, a bigger fish, kind of on both ends of the spectrum. There's nothing wrong with asking for a deckhand to check your drag if you're not sure.
Yeah, and the last guy, he was using one H&M Landings rental rods. It worked out very well for him on the trip. We had some guys using 30-pound and 40-pound for rent rod, but they had their fluorocarbon leaders. And most of these guys were getting bit on smaller hooks. Size 2 to size 4 circle hooks seemed to work really well. I was casting out and I hooked and handed a few fish on like 25, 30-pound tests with size 4 J hooks as well. If you can get the hook in the corner of the mouth, you can use a J hook. The circle hook's just a little bit easier for those that aren't used to feeling a bite. so the fish doesn't swallow the bait and gut it because they do have teeth. They can chew you off and rub you off, even if you have fluorocarbon. The fluorocarbon works great for abrasion resistance, and it helps people land more fish because of that. But just because you have it doesn't mean they can't chew you off.
Yep, absolutely. I personally like to fish
Okay,
fluoro
point your rod to the
versus
right more.
mono. But
Okay,
everybody's
you're gonna
it's
turn it
totally a
straight.
personal preference, whatever you'd like to do.
Yeah, I've transitioned into going braid straight to
Keep
fluoro. I'll use
one.
like a six
Keep
foot
going.
leader, not so
Couple
long
more. We're
that
gonna
I
lay them
can't
out
cast it
nicely.
out. I want to make sure my knot
There you
doesn't
go.
sit
Free spool
inside
now.
my
Free
guides when
spool.
I'm trying to
Thumb on the
cast.
spool so it doesn't back
But
off.
like a 5 6 foot leader,
Very good.
straight to my braid is how I've been fishing.
And these fish are just super fun size. I mean, you can see the last few, like 5 gaps or so. It's really good practice for those bigger fish when you do get on the bite, but it looks like a fun trip.